Welcome to the illustrious Free Ballers podcast with myself, Alex, and my co-host, John. What's good, John?
Alex, what the fuck is going on right now?
What the fuck is going on? I feel you 100%. We're coming at you all a little bit after Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Probably one of the most, it was an instant classic, one of the most amazing playoff games I've ever seen, and one of the most amazing finishes to a game winners I've ever seen, and probably one of the toughest losses in Heat history. And so congratulations, y'all survived 3 in a row, and now we got Game 7 for the Free Ballers Cup. Everything on the line.
This is absolute chaos. I mean, this has been an absolute roller coaster of emotion. The whole basketball world is upside down. Black is white, up is down. I can't fucking take this anymore. This is unprecedented. Unlivable. Absolutely unlivable.
Absolutely unlivable, Jim. Jim, get your ass over here to the Eastern Conference Finals and fix this shit.
Oh man.
Yeah,
we didn't even need Scott Foster last game.
I know. You know his ass. You know they're gonna have his ass on deck for as soon as they announce that it's Scott Foster, it's gonna be like, oh, best of 9. Here we go. For fucking NBA history, best of 9.
Adam Silver has to institute a new rule on the fly just because of Scott Foster.
Yeah, it turns out that the mid-season tournament is just Heat versus Celtics Game 7 like 5 times in a row. Each game is Game 7. Just fuck it. Ratings go through the roof.
Speaking of, I have a feeling the ratings for this Game 7 are going to be pretty big, like record setting.
Yeah, we'll see. Because I get the impression that a lot, like the popular sentiment is that it's in the bag for Boston. People, which I mean, I understand that. A lot of teams, after experiencing what the Heat did last night and losing with 0.2 left, it's hard to come back from a loss like that. I mean, people point towards Game 7 versus San Antonio from Miami, where there was the game after Ray Allen hit that shot. But I remember that game was a little closer than people think. It wasn't just it's just that no one remembers it because there's no Ray Allen shot. But that game was a little bit closer. It wasn't like the Spurs were just mentally destroyed because Ray Allen hit that shot. They still had to take it from him in the fourth. And that's all I guess I can hope for. If you would have told me 2-3 months ago that we're going to have Free Ballers Cup Heat Celtics Game 7 to fucking go to the NBA Finals, I would have been like, sign me up. Where do I sign up for that? Let's go. Albeit the journey to this Game 7 has been, I need to get better health insurance and shit. And get my heart checked out and shit.
It has not been orthodox, as it were. This is not, this is rarefied space that we're in here for both teams, really. Miami being the 8th seed, Boston being down 0-3 to the 8th seed, now tying them to. I mean, actually, let's back up. Have you even had a chance to have you even had a chance to go off about the first 3 wins yet?
No.
Or is it even too late at this point to do that? Or?
No, I want to do an entire Heat episode with a couple Heat people after the season is over, just to talk about the entire playoff run, because I think it deserves a discussion just because of exactly what you said. I cannot explain to you. I've been watching basketball since I was in elementary school. I cannot explain to you how or like how the fuck this is even happening. And so it's worth looking at. And as this run as an eighth seed has been absolutely incredible. Every single game won so far, I've been like, well, that was fun. Now we're gonna get tore up. You know what I mean? And then they have been ahead in every single series that they've played. They have not been behind in a series this entire time, which is just not how they were looking not that long ago. And so, but yeah, no, I'd like to go in on them later, but right now it's all about game 7. And like there's so much on the line, the legacy implications, like what I guess now that we've been doing this show, and this is the third time doing the show that we've watched our teams play like this. I guess like we shouldn't be that surprised, because each series is like an emotional roller coaster.
It is.
So I should have never guessed for a second that I was going to somehow get out of this series without being scared a little bit. Like up 3-0, like something about that was weird. And obviously the basketball gods shut that shit down immediately.
I don't even think the gods know what they're doing at this point. Like there was like the god of heat was like, let's create a weird a potential upset scenario, potential sweeping upset scenario. And then like the god of luck decided to be like, well, but also we're a 57 win team. We're not just going to go out like some punk bitch. And so they just rattle off 3 in a row, not easily, mind you, but they rattle off 3 in a row. I mean, when you say there's so much on the line, like first and foremost, like it's a trip to the finals, right? But then
100%.
there's like the stuff underneath. There's like if the Celtics lose this game 7, they at least showed some pride, and they can come back next season and maybe retool a little bit here and there. I think they run it back anyways. But it's still kind of like a win now scenario. Secretly, you kind of really want to take it now because you did make the finals last year and you had a chance, and you talked all this talk about going back to the finals and finally getting it. If the Heat, now the Heat though, if they blow it, if they lose game 7, there's going to be like legacy slander for them.
Oh yeah. That's never leaving us. You know what I mean? That's never going to leave Jimmy. That's never going to leave Spo. That's never going to leave the organization. We'll have to own that forever. And that is certainly like the little pea underneath all the mattresses that fucking Jimmy Butler is sleeping on tonight.
Do you mean like urine? You're talking about like pee as in urine?
No, the princess and the pea.
It's like what
the vegetable.
Like you turn over the mattress, you're like, oh shit, somebody peed on this. It's kind of that too, if you think about it. But yeah.
Oh fuck!
I thought you meant urine.
Give me mid cough there. Oh fuck me up. Damn, I gotta clip that cough because that was pretty funny sounding. But yeah, no, huge like legacy implications, like and I don't personally, like, I'm, as a Heat fan, I'm like, all right, like that's gonna be a stain on their legacies, but they have so much also like already that it's like I'm like, whatever, like you have to go up 3-0 to make it happen. I have a hard time penalizing people for winning. Like, is it going to be one of the most epic collapses in a series of all time, if not the most? Absolutely. But there's like a lot more nuance to it, though. Like,
sure.
Like Boston is the first team out of all those 150 teams or whatever that they're going to play this game on their home floor.
Yeah.
And then, they're the 2 seed, the Heat are the 8th seed. Tyler Hero, who was at times our number 1 scorer, I think into the playoffs, he became number 2 because Jimmy caught fire towards the end of the season. Hasn't been available since minutes into game 1 against the Bucks. Like Oladipo shatters his fucking knee in front of everyone. Like, it's just like all that adds up to like, yeah, that's why we're here. And that's why this is possible.
But you know as well as anybody when it comes to sports that we all have short memories. So all all this nuance that you're bringing up, and I know what you're talking about. Like I feel you on the nuance thing. I would be spouting the word nuance all the time if the Celtics were in your situation, the Heat situation. But here's the thing: we all have short memories, and it will always, in the future when the playoffs happen and a team goes up 3-0, that statistic will come out. And if the Celtics pull it off tomorrow, they'll say it'll show 1 and 149. The only team never do it was the Celtics. The only team never give it up was the Heat. And and they're not going to go in and say, oh, well, but the Heat were the 8th seed and, they had a historic run. Yeah. Nobody will say that stuff. They'll just say the Heat are the only team to ever give up a 3-0 series lead and lose. You guys, this is almost beyond basketball because as some of us might know, the only time this has ever happened is also in baseball, the Red Sox. Yeah. So you guys would be up there. You guys would be in good space with the Yankees, I guess, the New York Yankees, because that's who the Red Sox beat to do that. So, which is funny because I don't know if you've seen the pictures of Derek Jeter and Alex Rodriguez, I think, in attendance at game 3 or 4.
Need to fucking ban them from the arena. Jesus.
Doesn't Derek Jeter
thought that was a good idea?
Doesn't Jeter have like a ownership in the Marlins or something? Is that why he was there?
He used to, and he was terrible. He was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Nobody likes him. Nobody fucks with him.
Nobody likes him.
But yeah, no, that's for sure. Especially today, but really always, sports is not a world of nuanced opinions.
Absolutely not.
I'm fully aware of the fucking onslaught that is coming. Like as soon as we lose, that shit it's gonna be there forever. But honestly, man, if you guys lose, you have to stay off Twitter for like a week just for your heart, man. Like you can't. Yeah, seriously. Not letting go of the rope, staying the course. You know what I'm saying? I'll be on there arguing with all y'all.
Bro, that rope may be around your neck, and then so
it turns out that's what Spo was getting at when he said that.
Spo's spicy. I saw him post game. He was like, I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're gonna pull out game 7.
Yeah, Spo always embraces game 7. Every time we've been in this situation in the past, he's like, what, wouldn't have it any other way. What more can you ask for? This is what we do this job for, is to have moments like this. I'm just hoping for a good game. Like we're gonna witness something historical either way, whoever wins. And like fucking, I think that's why I couldn't ask for much more than that. Like that's fucking incredible. We could be like, welcome to the Free Ballers podcast featuring a Timberwolves fan and a Suns fan, and we would just be like, we'd be talking about the same shit probably, but like, but we would never be talking about, our teams doing this. And so, just hope we're not on the wrong side of that history. But if we are, it is what it is, man. We've got more basketball to play in the coming years.
What's been really fun is that normally I'm the type of person who I like to not do the trash talk and just let if I put myself in like the coach's shoes, right, and I say or the player's shoes, and I like to be the guy who in the post game whatever or the pregame whatever in the interviews, I like to not do the trash talking and just let, the game speak for itself. You know what I mean? Before I've even played, I don't want to talk trash before the game's even been played. But in this series, everybody is like just going off. Like,
oh yeah,
Spo's do it. Jimmy guaranteed the game 6 win. Spo's guaranteeing the game 7 win. Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Al Horford all said, all we needed to get is 1 win. Don't let us win. All that stuff. The only person who's kind of not even doing it is Joe Mazzulla, but he's a little too religious for that kind of stuff anyways. But there's like just straight up like, no, we're going to win. Like, it's like trash talk. There's no jinxing. There's no, like, nobody's worried about it. We're not worried about like the opposing team showing the footage of the guy saying this and that. It's just like everybody's out there just talking trash, and they love it, and just feeding off of it.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Like, honestly, just thinking about it, like this entire podcast is just like, damn, isn't this fucking awesome? Like, and it is,
Yeah.
like it is, and yeah, like it's so spicy, and it's like how often do you get 2 7-game series in the fucking conference finals back-to-back years with the same fucking teams? You know what I mean? Like this is awesome, man. And even though it pretty much already was solidified, like this for damn sure solidifies like that the Celtics and the Heat are arch rivals. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure.
And if anyone wants to do anything in the Eastern Conference, you're gonna have to fuck with one of these two teams eventually. And it doesn't even seem to fucking matter what seed or any of that shit. It's like these two teams got it out for each other, and it was like fucking destiny. Like you said earlier when we were chatting earlier, this shit could have been in the first round.
Yeah.
So once that didn't happen, it was like, oh man, this might not even happen this year. And here we are saying, fucking Game 7 Eve yet again.
I have to say, even though it didn't happen in the first round, as much as I was like a little relieved, I was also just like, well, it doesn't matter, because even if the Celtics go all the way to the conference finals, it's probably going to be in Miami, because once you guys beat, and by the way, every Bucks fan listening to this is just like, right.
Oh, yeah.
It's like filling up the bathtub, getting the toaster fired up. They're just like, fuck this, fuck both of these guys. But like, as soon as I saw you guys beat the Bucks, I was like, okay, here we go again. It's Miami on their bullshit, and they're gonna go to the conference finals. And if Boston can beat Philly, then they're gonna go there. So it didn't even matter that we like avoided you guys, and not purposely, but we avoided you guys in the first round. But yeah, it was they were gonna meet up eventually, so it didn't really matter.
On the highway to hell, either way, it was gonna fucking happen. Yeah, and it's just this is one of the most interesting series of all time. Clearly, like with the whole 3-0 and the comeback now, and now we're going to Game 7. Like this is one of the most interesting series of all time. And oh man, fuck, I lost my train of thought because I was just thinking about how fucking ridiculous this all is.
Yeah,
but shit.
Fans of other teams are listening to this and just like, Alex and John are just jacking each other off the whole episode.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Like, we're going to Game 7, man. We're going to Game 7.
We're going to Game 7.
We went to Game 7 last year, but this time, if you, like I said before, if you told me that this was going to happen a couple months ago, I would be like, let's fucking go. Right. But this time we probably arrived at this point in the literal most interesting way possible. Sure. This series is like a fucking reflection of the way people are today, of like, it's like the Heat up 3-0. Everyone's like, oh, Boston's done. They're fucking done. Fire Joe Mazzulla, blah, whatever. And the Heat fans like, Jalen. I always knew that we were going to do this. I never said that we should tank for the 14th pick. Like, you know what I mean? And then fucking a week later, it's just like, is Eric Spoelstra the worst coach in the NBA history for having this on his legacy? Yep. Is Jimmy Butler a fucking fraud? Like a week ago he's Michael Jordan. And so this was the perfect series for the way everyone is like so reactionary. Adam Silver has got to be like just fucking feeling like a king right now.
It's funny you say that, because you know how everybody always says the NBA is rigged. I would go back and forth on that, but like this playoffs so far has kind of been, if you take out this series, the playoffs so far has kind of been somewhat uninteresting. Nothing really great except for the Heat upsetting the Bucks, and
as far as rigging goes.
Well, no. As far as game-winning shots or crazy series where like weird shit happened. Like the only thing that's really been interesting is the Heat upsetting the Bucks, but they did that in 5 games.
I don't know, man. There was like Lakers Kings went to Game 7. Obviously the Heat run and all that, but then I'm trying to think, like you had the Suns like epic collapse like for the second year in a row.
I guess
we got Warriors versus Lakers we didn't get the series we wanted out of it, but we got it.
Yeah.
But I see your point. Like those things pale in comparison to what's happening here between Boston and Miami.
I mean, whatever happens in the finals may no matter who's there, no matter who wins, may pale in comparison to this series. Just the dramatics of it.
No, yeah, it's true. This could be way more exciting than the finals. Mm-hmm. And my brain tells me that like Denver is the favorite regardless of who wins. But there's also a little part of me that's like, there's the whole rest versus rust, all that stuff. One side doesn't always win that argument. And there's a small part of me that wants to think that whoever wins in this game 7, having just played some of the most competitive basketball they've ever played, while tired, probably, they're going to be fucking ready to play. Whereas the Nuggets have just been like, man, we're going to cruise on into this shit. Damn. Like, remember that time we swept LeBron? Damn. Like, this is like, as long as nobody gets hurt, this is like practice for the fucking finals, man. I'd rather a team go through these moments and get there than cruise on in, mentality wise. So there's a small part of me that feels that way, but my logical part of my brain is like, bro, what the fuck is he talking about? Like have you seen Jokic and Jamal Murray together?
Yeah. I don't believe in the rest versus rust thing. I don't think either of those things ever really matter. I think, of course, Denver has more prep time and then whoever comes out of the East. But I feel like that never really matters as much as people say it does. At least maybe it used to, like in the 90s or something. But I will say this. When I watched, and not to tangent off basketball, but when I watched the Red Sox do this to the Yankees in 2004, I didn't my gut feeling, like in my heart, I knew at the time when I saw them winning game 7 and then I'm going through all the emotions that I'm kind of about to go through right now. I knew that it didn't matter who they were playing in the World Series, they were going to win. It just didn't matter at all because you have so much momentum, so much emotion. Like it's all just goes and it's like, I mean, I hate to sound corny, but it's magical, right? Like there's nothing that can stop you once you've sort of beaten crazy odds like that.
Yeah. The Florida Panthers in hockey are currently doing it.
Nuts.
It's wild, man. On a side note, one of the things I think that makes these series so interesting and competitive when the Boston Celtics play the Miami Heat with this group of guys is that I kind of feel like both of our teams have like levels of effort, you know what I mean? Like, and they don't always go all the way. And I feel like both teams kind of get bored sometimes if it's not like fucking back against the wall.
Yes.
Like, you know what I mean? Like basically like the Celtics played like complete booty cheeks for 3 games until it was like, hey, guess what? If you do that again, you're done. And they're like, oh yeah. Like, and they fucking just attacked that and lived in that pressure, you know? And I kind of feel like Miami is a similar way, albeit this playoff run, this is the first pressure we've had the whole time. But like we had pressure just to make it into this shit. And it was almost as if like as soon as it was like, hey guys, guess what? If you guys keep playing the way you've been doing for the last 4 months, you're not even going to make it into the playoffs. And they were like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? And fucking, so now, you know, you have the Celtics starting off like that. Then they get in the pressure and turn it up a notch. And I'm hoping to see that from Miami because we witnessed the opposite, which also tracks, which is like the Heat got up 3-0 and we're just like, oh, I don't know. Like they, you know what I mean?
Chill.
Like, it's like, it was, this isn't as exciting as like, you know, when we had 3%, so a chance to win or whatever. And it's like, oh yeah, well, here you go, fellas, you about to lose. So during
these 3 wins in a row, and especially during games 4 and 5, there were times I was ecstatic that they were winning them. But at the same time, I was also like, why couldn't you have done this in games like 1 and 2? Game 3, I'll almost let that go because they just got spanked from like wire to wire. But games 1 and 2, like in Boston, they had chances to close those out and win them, and they just let the Heat back in the game.
Yeah.
Which is standard Celtics, to be very honest. But the whole time I'm like, if you just close out one of those games, this series might be over. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's might be a whole different series.
Yeah, that's how I feel exactly about games 4 and 5. Like game 4 was a complete ass whipping. So it's just like, well, you know, sometimes that just happens. We see it all the time. But game 5, I felt like they had a chance to pull that off. And if I'm thinking of the correct game, I'm pretty sure that was the game. And like it was disappointing to me because it kind of like while I was watching game 5, I had this feeling of like, damn, are these motherfuckers banking on that they're going to win game 6 at home? You know, like towards the once it was like getting kind of out of hand, but it wasn't out of hand enough for me to do what Spo did, which was he just started fucking resting the players for the next game. And I also feel some kind of way about like resting Gabe Vincent for that game. Like it felt like they were like, okay, we're going to give it our best shot tonight, but we're really going to give it our best shot next time. I mean, if we lose. And it's like, I've seen that from other teams. Like that's kind of like what the Bucks did with Giannis, and it bit them in the ass. Like I really do feel like if that was the NBA finals or some shit, or if they had the future knowledge of like that they were going to lose that series, he would have fucking played in some of the games that he sat out. But I really felt like they thought they could do it without him. And then by the time they brought him back, it was too late. And you can't fuck around like that.
I don't think Spo. Well, it's funny you say that because I don't think Spo thinks like that. I don't think he thought to himself, game 5 is done, but we're guaranteed to win game 6. I think he wanted the series over as quickly as possible.
Sure.
But having said that, a part of me during the Heat's first 3 wins, I was thinking to myself, like, what the fuck is going on? Like, how come Spo let a team go 44-38 during the regular season, almost missed the playoffs by losing to the Hawks? It almost looks like, I mean, if you wanted to be like a conspiracy theorist, it looks like he like fucked around during the regular season to make it look like his team is not that good. Then he like turned on the good coaching button or something in the playoffs and was like, now let's do it. Like now we fooled everybody. Now let's like turn it on and do what we need to do to like get back to where we need to be. Like he's almost like putting the Heat in like sleeper mode. And then like, you know, then they like, you know, if you've seen Apocalypse Now, then they like come out of the water. You just see their eyes popping up out of the water, you know? And then it's just Jimmy's head. That's a perfect, if somebody can make that, just Jimmy's head popping up out of the water. Like what's his, I can't think of the actor's name anyways, but like, yeah, but it almost seemed like they were just like, they played dumb during the regular season, barely made the playoffs. I mean, they lost to the Hawks. They could have had the 7th seed. And then we're just like, oh yeah, by the way, we're this team still. Like we're still the team that was first in the East last year. We're still the team that made it to the finals in the bubble year. We're still that team. And I guess they still are anyways, but do you think there's any credibility to Spo like faking it? And then
no, okay. I don't. I watched almost every single all 82 games. Like they just were that trash. Like they were just that trash. And I mean, Spo has a history of like squeezing out all the juice from what he can get from the players. And, you know, like I don't ever think that Spo goes out there not trying to win 100%. And, but Heat fans, we call it the Spopa-dope. He fucking fooled y'all.
Yeah, I mean, he did. Yeah.
But no, in reality, we just were that garbage. We had like no power forward the entire season until we got Kevin Love and Zeller. And I remember when we made those signings, I joked on the show that turns out, you know, we don't need Kevin Durant. All you need is Kevin Love and Zeller. And hilariously, like that's not that funny anymore because we're in game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. I think maybe that is all we need.
And Durant's in Cancun basically right now.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't think there's any, I don't think that Spo would even be able to make that happen. I will say that Spo is a tinkerer and he doesn't really lock down like the shit that he's doing now until like the final weeks of the season. And so this team was poorly put together with once we lost PJ Tucker and didn't replace him with anybody, then we played Caleb Martin out of position at the 4 the entire season, which was like super fucking tough for him. Only recently when they got Kevin Love did he get to like go back to his actual what he's supposed to be doing.
Swingman.
Yeah. And so I think the mixture of like how Spo tinkers in the regular season, plus some injuries here and there, plus just poor roster construction, it didn't add up well. We almost missed the fucking playoffs. But as far as what happened after that, I feel like if a team has Jimmy Butler and a team has Eric Spoelstra, like then honestly, like if they got 2% chance, that's still a chance. Like because that's the only way I can explain it. I mean, Jimmy dropping 56 on the Bucks, I think was so inspiring, like to the rest of the team, that all of a sudden you start seeing Gabe Vincent and Max Strus and Caleb Martin playing out of their minds, you know, like because they have full belief in this guy. And that was the strange part about the last game, is that Jimmy just was absolutely terrible.
Max Strus should have known better because he saw what Jimmy could do back in 2020, if I remember. Or was he there on the team at the time during the bubble season?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe so.
So like Martin and Vincent, like I can understand like they needed to see like a Jimmy legendary performance to sort of get like, oh, okay, so we can do this. Like they needed that sort of inspiration because they're sort of new to this. They didn't.
No, they were there. Vincent was in the bubble. I mean, Caleb was around last year. Okay. I just think even when you know it's coming, it's still like it was undeniable that was fucking incredible. And when you see that, you're just like, oh shit, okay, like let's go. But I do think that Jimmy inspired the rest of the team. He gave it all that he could give and got us a part of the way. But then after a while, it became like a total team effort thing. And some of them role players have been stepping up. Caleb Martin is playing like a fucking all-star.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. And
then when you have Spo to guide everything, you're gonna have a shot with an all-star and Eric Spoelstra. If you have those two things, you're gonna have a shot. That being said, and while we're on the coaching subject, obviously Missoula has turned it around. Like in the 3 games they've won in a row, I could actually point to like specific moments where I'm like, oh, that was a good idea. That was good. You know what I mean? And in those first 3 games, it was like the complete opposite. There was like specific moments where you're just like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Yeah, he has issues with not he won't call timeout sometimes when you think he's supposed to. So and I mean he'll defend that and say, I mean, I'm not to get into specifics, but he'll defend that and say, no, I'm going to let them play through this, and you know we'll save our timeouts for something else. And it's like, no, I think you should use your timeout now because the Heat are on like a run and you guys are about to lose the lead and stuff like that. But
yeah, they went on a historic run. It was like the most it was the highest scoring quarter in like Heat playoff history.
Right.
That was the one where he didn't call a timeout.
Yeah, and you're like, yeah, you got to stop this. You got to stop the bleeding. You got to, you know, because the Celtics have a bad history with third quarters. But he like Joe. I mean, first of all, it doesn't matter who wins this series. Eric Spoelstra's has outcoached him, plain and simple. But because he's new, he's 34 years old. He's a rookie coach. He shouldn't even be this deep into the playoffs. But
if the Celtics win, I wouldn't necessarily say he outcoached him, but I think I can agree in that like Spo is still Spo when the series ends.
Sure,
the series ends and everyone knows he's still Spo. Whereas like you know, if Missoula, if they lost any one of these last 3 games, there's a lot of questions about him. You know what I mean? But if they win, he just bought himself another chance. He kind of already did just by doing this. Yeah. And he's young, man. Like Spo has a quote from before game 1 where he was like talking about like he remembers when he was the youngest coach in the league. And like Boston fans yelling at him like, isn't it past your bedtime and shit? Like and so you don't fucking know. Like Joe Mazzulla could take this and fucking run with it. Next thing you know, we're still talking about him in 15 years. You know what I mean? Like easily that could happen.
Yeah, Brad Stevens is riding or dying with Joe. I think no matter, I think even if they had gotten swept, he'd still would keep Joe on as the coach. But here's the weird thing: it's like Joe. What I'm realizing is because Celtics fans are still learning about him basically because he's still like they made him the head coach of the team like in the middle of the season. He was named the I guess the interim or temporary head coach like 5 minutes before the season even started just because of the whole Ime incident. But he like I don't know if you heard the post game stuff after I think it was game 5 where they the reporters asked him like where is this coming from, like where are you guys finding the will to do this, and he doesn't like he goes like outside of basketball. He's like, well, I went and visited two young ladies under the age of 18 that were dying of cancer or something in a hospital, and you're like oh shit, and everybody like takes like a step back and they're just like he has a whole, these are answers I'm not expecting. I'm not a religious person, but it's interesting to see that he comes at it from like a whole other, like a much bigger perspective. He's like, he doesn't even, it's outside of basketball at this point. Like he's just like, whatever happens on the court is fine. I'm just saying we all should be grateful to be here. And you're like, oh, okay. Well, that's, I appreciate that, bro. I appreciate that. But I was asking, how did you break the Syracuse 2-3 zone? that's all I was asking. That's all I was asking. Like, how did you guys bust Spo's zone? He's like, well, God busted it. It's like, okay, well, that's not really the answer, but okay, that's fine. Man.
Yeah. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Game 7 eve, Free Ballers Cup on the line. All the marbles.
Deep breaths.
Based on how the Nuggets been looking, it could be all the marbles either of our teams have coming our way. Like at the very least, it might be the last most fun thing that we will be involved in.
Agreed.
Hopefully not, because we're an Eastern Conference podcast. You feel me? But yeah, man, here we are. And it took one of the most ridiculous game-winning shots I've ever seen in my life to happen. Like so many different things could have went a different way and we wouldn't be in this moment, but here we are. And
I'll end with this. One of the co-owners of the Celtics said that the call, Derek White, what was the call? Derek White tip in at the buzzer or something like that. That call is right up there with like Havlicek steals it, or and Larry Bird, or the one where Larry Bird steals it from the Pistons and passes it, lays it out to DJ. All that stuff. That he says that's right up there with that, and it's like, fuck.
He said it was right up there with January 6th. Nah.
No, that's good.
I can't do that to y'all. I can't do that.
That's a good little dig at the the Celtics white logo. So,
but yeah, nah. This is all very scary. Gonna be probably gonna get like some Depends to watch the game tomorrow. It's Memorial Day too, you know what I'm saying? Like hot dogs and beers and shit.
Yeah,
it's gonna be but yeah, good luck to y'all. And
good luck to you guys.
I'll see you on the other side, and one of us is gonna be sad, the other one is gonna have a lot of shit to talk. and we're gonna have that here for you all. So stay tuned, everybody. Yeah, listen up, because it's gonna get like sweaty palms, butterflies in the stomach, all that good stuff tomorrow. So I mean, the episode after this one is gonna be just as more fun than this one, I'll say that. Yeah, it's true. I was talking to my mom earlier. She's making spaghetti tonight, so no. I got my sweater like pressed and it's like hung up over here. Ready to go. My arms, they feel pretty light today, but I'm saying tomorrow, man.
Yeah. I'm sure your knees feel strong, but your knees may also go weak. As soon as you eat that spaghetti, you may as well just run to the bathroom. I mean, there's no point in like trying to like sit and digest it. So
fucking spaghetti knees. We're all gonna have spaghetti knees tomorrow.
So much spaghetti knees.
Yeah, and it's like, man, I just want another game just like that game where it's close in the end. However, that's going to be so fucking nerve-wracking Like that, a blowout in one direction, at the very least, one of us could take solace in like, well, you know what I mean? Like, it's clear as day. Like,
yeah.
But if some shit like this goes down, oh man, like I'm gonna have to ask Scott Foster for the 2 more games.
I can hear that Metallica song playing already for Scott Foster. But
I know.
But like, I have a feeling it won't be this nerve wracking. I have a feeling somebody may pull away at some point, and then the other team will just kind of, settle into it and be like, yeah, this was bound to happen. But I also could be. Everything that we've predicted has not gone the way it should have gone. So
facts.
I'm down for whatever happens tomorrow. It is what it is. I can't control it. At some point yesterday, because I was like working through the game, I was like, okay, look, don't look at your phone. Just focus on work. You can't control what happens in the game. You pulling the phone out of your pocket is not going to change the result. So, but of course, I'm still pulling the phone out of my pocket to check it whenever I need that hit of serotonin or dopamine or whatever it's going to be. So, yeah.
For real, I'm like, all right, I wore that Jimmy shirt for those games. They're 6-2 with that shirt. Like, you know what I mean? I kind of fucked up on the shirts. I might need to break out the bubble shirt, the band block shirt. I think that's the shirt for tomorrow.
Oof.
I think that's because my Jimmy Jesus shirt, we had a really good run. But like, I think it's time to switch up the vibes. I think it's time to switch up.
That's some sacrilegious shit. If you wear that shit with the Celtics, like religious ass coach, you're done for. You gotta. I think for your.
Maybe that offset it. Maybe you could. Yeah. You might be onto something there.
Because you can't have Jimmy like dressed as Jesus on a T-shirt and then Joe Mazzulla on the other end. Like, I'm sorry, sir. That's against all of our rules.
Yeah, damn. This is a fucking religious war. The series has it all, folks.
So Celtics Heat has now reached the epic levels of the Crusades.
Oh man. All right, man. Well, it's good talking with you.
Likewise.
Enjoy Game 7. Enjoy the holiday. And this is why we do this. We're here to watch exactly this, and I hope it keeps happening over and over again.
Yeah, I want more next year.
Yeah, fuck all 28 other teams and y'all if y'all lose or if y'all
regular season.
Yeah. Heat in 2.
Oh man. Well, the Heat were white hot last night, were they not? That's not bad. I kind of like that one, but I don't know.
Oh man. All right, man. I will catch you. I don't know. I think that flew over my head. I don't even know what's funny.
No, because Derek White made the tip in.
Oh, fuck you.
You guys have that white hot thing where you put all the white t-shirts. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm surprised that went over my head.
Yeah, he just took one of those shirts and wrapped it around his head and went to town.
And oddly enough, it was an XL. Didn't even cover his head.